Welcome. Welcome to Mystic Moons. How are you doing now, then, in this time and space? As usual, we, the people, have to deal with so many things. It's hard, again, to stay organized, focused, to even contemplate what somebody else is saying or doing. And one thing about being tied up with your own personal drama, which is everyday living, it's rare to take a moment and scan what is happening in the rest of the world. And you could say that whatever happens in France happens in France. Whatever happens in Africa, the continent of Africa, happens in the continent of Africa. And, so forth and so on. However, we do know at some level, as we scale up the pyramid, it's all tied in. It's all tied in. And that's something that we should pay attention to, what the message is that we're receiving. I mean, you can watch television or cable, whatever you want to call it, and you can see, especially if you look at flicks, movies from time past, decades old, and you could see a lot of the social programming that we're constantly being subject to. And I would say that generations, our mothers, our fathers, our grandparents, didn't pay two beans about that aspect of being programmed. Okay. Now, when we have world leaders, we pay attention to what they say and what they do. Sometimes it's different. But let's take a moment, and we've been hearing a lot too about the last year or so about Brigitte Macron. I've done videos before on Brigitte Macron and said the most important thing was the fact that whether she was, M to F or F to M, I mean, that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is the fact, to a lot of people's sensibilities, is the fact that a teacher who was, 30, 40 years older than a pupil got together with him. That's the most important thing. But we're not going to touch that yet. We're not going to we already touched it. But Brigitte Macron is a world leader. And you could say France is the size of Pennsylvania, one of the states in the United States. It's really not all that big. However, we live in the United States, which I'm broadcasting from the mountains of the Northeast. We live in a society that worships Europe, at least in the past. And we prize ourselves on being European, what's that? I can't say the word. Europeanized. That doesn't, well, you can make up words anyway. So what, right? So what? We prize ourselves on having an affinity towards European culture, even though the United States is supposedly a melting pot with endless cultures from different millenniums, different decades, different 100-year here, 100-year there, different regimes. And some things never changed. I mean, we have had a history throughout the ages of incest, right? Incest, which means blood relations having more than the typical family relationships. And we also know that humans, us, are capable of lusty thoughts, lusty thoughts, as well as non-lusty thoughts, or high eloquent or benevolent or esoteric. But now we're talking about world leaders should be aware of both sides, the very bottom and the very top. And seeking a middle ground on a certain subject is not acceptable. Recently, British Brigitte Macron has come under fire again for her attitude and her verbalizations. She just, in fact, said the other day, she stated on tape in French, that, oh, of course she speaks French. Okay, that's stupid to say that. But she stated that women who are anti-rape are filthy, she used the B word, and we'll just say bites, which we know that that wasn't exactly her term. She said that women who are anti-rape. Now this is the leader of France, the epitome of culture, epitome of Western culture, right? The Louvre, the this, the that, Versailles, all these things, the French Revolution, power to the people, all these things that are just words, and everything is just words. What happens when you call a group of people activist or non-activist? Women generally is to, there has been, is male and female, among other things, but there are lots of males and lots of females. And when you call women who don't support rape charges, rape, a dirty word, a name, what does that do to your cause? I mean, we do know that she is prosecuting, both her and her husband are prosecuting people who challenge the fact that she was born male or born female. All right. Now, how many women do you know that would even the mere touch, the mere thought of rape would call somebody a derogatory term, no matter what their their enthusiasm, activists, non-activists, but the fact that they're just common, I would say, functionality is female. And they would call them the name of filthy, That does not like now what cause is she in? That's something a man would say, wouldn't he? Oh, that blah, blah, blah. But would a woman saying that about her peers, about her, I'll have to use the word kind, the feminine females, calling a certain segment of people who said, I do not support rape, calling them names, calling them the B word, filthy too, filthy, not even, if there's, not even, just the word B, but calling them filthy bees. How does that sit with you? Does this aid her cause? And Candace Owens, a podcaster from the U.S., has been talking. Well, she has a defamation case against. They have one against her for calling her an M2F, male to female, and saying also that she has certain incestuous relationships with her hubby. Now, if you look at the incest laws from even the United States, state to state, or in different countries, there's all different categories of what constitutes pedophilia and what constitutes consent and what constitutes rape. Even in the state of the United States, in the state of New Jersey, if you're over 12 years old, that's consensual. So, and in some states, even if you just even sniff at somebody, that is called rape. So, I mean, it's state to state. In some countries, too, you obviously, if you're an adult and you have, aunt, nephew, uncle, niece, father, daughter, etc., that if you're adults, you can do what the hell you want to do. Which, I mean, I never found my father all that appealing. I know lots of people who feel the same way about their parents. But anyway, this is an off topic. Basically, we want to find out the universe. Let's ask the universal energies if this has helped her cause or this has struck down her cause. A woman who has such little empathy about victims, not co-conspirators, but victims of rape. Now, you do know what rape means. Unwillingly, somebody taking advantage of you and in a coitus manner, to put it a little technical. And a lot of times we're talking, again, we have age. We have the age, it's usually someone's older and someone's younger. But we are like basically seeing now is a woman who has this attitude, calling the people who think that anti-rape are the B word, filthy B word, filthy bees, filthy bites. Is this acceptable? Does this aid her cause or does it aid Candace Owens' cause? And we do know, as I mentioned already, that when you have a defamation case going on of such a sensitive issue, and you go around sneer. Now, I don't know any woman, old, young, mute, deaf, dumb, whatever, smart, stupid, who would say such a thing and just go, oh, scoff, and just say so. I'm being recorded too. You look it up. It's online. It's not like the energies are feeding me wrong information. I'm just wanting to see, was this some kind of mind control from Candace Owen to have Brigitte Macron utter that phrase? Are you going to say, oh, poor Brigitte Macron? Is she being taken advantage of? Or what's the case? There's more to this than meets the eye or meets the, libido. There's more than this. So let's see. Now, so far, I've just got two. Let me see. I'm looking at this to see how this aids her cause. How does this? No. Okay. Now, let's just take 3 on this because this is a difficult subject because I am female, obviously. Now, the first thing we have here is cups. Luxury. We have the 4 of Cups. That attitude is very much Marie Antoinette. Let them eat cake, right? Let them eat cake. The 4 of Cups. But wait, it's more than this. Let them eat cake. This is like the 4 of Cups. This is luxury of time. And even this deck saying luxury, the 4 of Cups. That is a privileged statement of somebody can go, ooh, the poor, the misguided, they're not connected. You're not connected. You're not connected. Ooh, my. Oh, you poor people. Luxury. 4 of Cups. I guess it is a luxury, you can say, of having time to make those statements, time to not to be worried about where your next meal, your next job, your next proletarian concern. And the next one we get is the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups. This is definitely an emotional message. Definitely an emotional message. And who is it speaking to? Who is it speaking to? How many people can say, oh, yes, the poor woman, she's being defamed. We have a case of libel, a case of slander, not libel, slander. Can you just hear it? Can you just hear? The next one we have here is Wands. We have virtue. We have the 3 of Wands. That is, I would say this is an immediate fallout, immediate message. Are you going to jump on her message? Are you going to say women that don't support rape are derogatory creatures, derogatory, how would you say, dogs, female in heat dogs, dirty little things? Well, that's what she said. A woman who is being on trial for her, she said, how dare you challenge my existence? You see what you see in front of you. I am. Now, as I mentioned again, what woman, trans, birth, whatever, would say such a comment like that? What woman would do that? Very few. Very few. But then again, we have status. We have all these pyramid things. We have all these do as I say, do, obedience, bend the knee, all this type of things. I'm in a position. Once again, Western Europe was founded, or tries to be founded, including the United States, on democracy. People represented by politicians, not like subjects of class. Even though class, there's worker class, middle class, lower class, upper class, luxury class. But we don't like to talk about those things, do we? We don't, like somebody says, this apple is green or this apple is purple, even though there is no apple in the hand, but the person says it so we go, oh, yeah. There's a great majority of us will go, oh, yeah, we see it, just to suck up. And Brigitte Macron is asking us to suck it up. And some feeble excuse for labeling activist females as filthy bites is an example of like monkey see, monkey hear, monkey see no evil, monkey hear no evil, monkey speak no evil, right? The great myth of what are you going to do about it? This is how I say, this is how I roll. And if you are my people, you will roll my way. Now, we've already seen the fact that this is a luxury. We have luxury. We have the Knight of Cups, and we have the Three of Wands. Speaking to, it's a class division here. Now, how many are going to jump on it? How many are going to say, yes, Candace Owens did this and Candace Owens did that? And I demand justice. What kind of justice is she giving her constituents, her people? What's the message? What is the message? Let's look at this for a second. What kind of message is she sending to the people, the proletariat, the worker, the mainstay of any society? What kind of message is she saying? My choice, not yours. You don't have any choice. Or like, Candace Owens is like talking out of her, pie hole. Candace Owens is wrong and I am right. What kind of message does this send us? As listeners in this two-way pickleball, ping pong ball, tennis game that goes on among people. Let's just take these three. Let's just see. What kind of message? Warfare, civil war, attitude. It's like it's a battle out there. We know it's a battle out there. We know. Seven of Wands. up against the wall, be ready to defend yourself against any and all misinformation and information. And then there's glory in being able to have the power, glory in being able to have the fight, glory in being able to have the last word. Will the judge take her actions into consideration in her defamation case? Did she aid herself by showing what side of the throne she hails? On the Wheel of Fortune. Well, this is becoming her statement is all about the two worlds collision or the fight for separation, the fight for upper and lower, small and big. In other words, I would say there is always public opinion. Public opinion. And public opinion may or may not have been divided. But public opinion is definitely swayed in one direction more than the other direction. The words did her no good. In fact, I would say she lost some supporters with her attitude of her clearly defined Marie Antoinette. Marie Antoinette stance. So we'll see, French people. Let's just see how far this goes with her feeble excuse of why that jetted out of her mouth. And where does it leave her? Where do you think it leaves her? Do you believe Candace Owens? Or do you believe Brigitte Macron, the Macrons? Do you believe them when they say they are categorizing your feelings on the subject of the action of rape? And for women who have a strong opinion about that action. It's almost like having a fox hunt, and they instead of like going after a four-legged animal, they're going after bipeds, and bipeds who are vulnerable without regress. I will leave you with thoughts like this. So what do you think? Tell me. And thank you for the likes. This is a subject that, has definitely tied into the M to F theory or accusations. It's definitely something that a woman would think twice about talking about publicly and even thinking about it at all. Kind of like some Epstein stuff, isn't it? Well, it is weird. You have to admit, for a head of state to be calling out such an abusive and demoralizing action, people that speak out about it. But then again, if a woman, she was a teacher, and she did hit on her 15-year-old student, and she was in her 40s. See, there's so many ifs, so many swings, so many if places. There's so many areas of which is unsettling. Candace Owens, I wouldn't rule out her claim yet. She just may have gotten a plug. And if you'd like to hear more on these subjects, please like and subscribe. And listen and think about it. Think about would you expect your sister, your mother, your aunt, your friends at school, at university, at job to have this kind of feeling? And what would you think of somebody who had those kind of feelings like that? It is a sensitive topic, isn't it? It's very, very. Well, please add your comments. How do you feel? I am disheartened that a world leader would say such a thing like that. That's kind of creeps me out. Creeps me out. Does it creep you out? Until the next time, I'll leave you with those thoughts. And thank you again for listening to this and weighing this subject. And Candace Owens is always like put out to be a crackpot of some sort because she says things that aren't common. But then again, take a look, as I mentioned earlier, take a look at the incest laws, how they vary from state to state in the United States and country to country in Europe, in all countries all over. Some countries they put you up against the wall and they shoot you dead. Others they just go, they look the other way. That's your business. But we're talking about a lot of manipulation issues. A lot of manipulation issues. Do a little reading. See what you think. Thank you very much and bye-bye.